Well, moving across the pond, we have joining us today David Kaufman of the New York Post to break down some of what's been happening in the U.S. elections and, of course, discuss the impact of the Gaza war on both political parties. David, of course, pleasure to have you in studio today here in Israel. We saw the protests outside the DNC. We've seen this kind of radical, very extreme, even anti-American, anti-Israel groups protesting outside. And of course, in the end, the DNC did not allow a Palestinian American to speak at their conference, likely because they opposed the Democratic candidate. I wanted to get your take on this. What is happening with these protesters? How much of an impact do you think the more extreme anti-Israel crowd will have on the Democratic vote?
It's good to be here. Thank you. I think the common thread with everything right now with the Democratic Party is that we just don't know yet, mostly because the candidate, Kamala Harris, has really yet to lay out any firm policies or any firm strategies when it comes to basically anything. Now, tonight's important because she is going to be giving her first major interview tonight on CNN, and there's a lot of anticipation around seeing what she might say around the economy, around the migrant crisis, and of course around Gaza, Israel, and the Palestinians. Last week was very important and was very notable. I think you could say it was a big win for Israel. Of course, everybody is focused on the fact that the more radical pro-Palestinian groups were kept out. But also, I think it was really important the way she brought in Hersh Goldberg's parents, his mother Rachel, the way she was so emotional on stage. It's notable that afterwards, many of those Palestinian groups, one in particular, I read it, I believe, in the Los Angeles Times, one of the members of those pro-Palestinian groups was very, very clear. She spoke very emotionally, and she was touched by the fact that Hersh Goldberg's mom, Rachel, acknowledged the plight of the Palestinians. And she said that she felt more, this woman, this pro-Palestinian protester, said she felt more acknowledged by Hersh Goldberg's mom than she had felt by the entire Biden-Harris administration since October 7th. So there was a big win. And I would actually say that if Kamala Harris wins in November, we might tie it back to that moment when Hersh Goldberg's parents appeared on the stage in Chicago.
You know, you've said that we don't yet know exactly what Harris's policies would be, but I want to ask you if you could venture to guess, what do you expect we would see from a Harris presidency versus a Trump presidency when it comes to the U.S.-Israel relationship?
I think what we will see from a Harris presidency vis-a-vis a Trump presidency is not just about Israel and the U.S., but it goes back to Iran. Harris did touch upon Iran. She sort of name-checked them as a global menace in her Democratic acceptance speech. But, the Biden-Harris administration has pulled back aggressively from the Trump administration's maximum pressure strategy and have really returned to the sort of laissez-faire, optimistic approach to Iran, and we've seen where that's gotten us. We can say what we want about Donald Trump, but when he was president, we didn't have a recalcitrant, megalomaniac, pariah nation like Iran dictating foreign policy throughout the Middle East and in the U.S. itself. It's notable that there have been a few instances of Iranian agents taking out Iranians on American soil since Biden has come into office. I know you pay particularly close attention to Iran. So I think the bigger issue is that the real wild card is what will Harris do when it comes to Iran? Will she maintain the Biden, the Clinton, the Obama policy of soft hands, of deals, of laissez-faire, or will they go back to the Trump policy of maximum pressure? Say what you want, but we've seen what happens when we release the pressure on Iran, and we're dealing with it right now throughout this region.
We are almost out of time, but I wanted to ask you as a final comment, how can Democrats and Republicans work together to promote this U.S.-Israel relationship that, quite frankly, is mutually beneficial? This isn't a favor to Israel. It's something that's mutually beneficial, and I do think that Kamala Harris, to her credit, acknowledges this, just as Donald Trump has acknowledged in the past. What can they do on the ground to promote this relationship?
Yeah, I think what we can really do is link the fact that Jews, Israel, they share the same values as America. There's so much pressure and so much focus on these kind of manufactured alliances between blacks and Arabs or gays and Arabs. But really, The truth of the matter is these groups have far more in common with Israel. No African American has anything in common with Hamas. No queer American has anything in common with Hamas. They have things in common with Judaism and with Israel and the liberal progressive values that we espouse as a nation and as a people. I think it's important over and over again to show groups that are actively working against us, working against the state of Israel, that they have nothing in common with Hamas, Islamic Jihad, or any Islamic groups that want to kill us. The same groups that want to kill Jews, that want to kill Israel, want to kill the exact same groups in America, as well as other progressive minorities, including gay people, including women, and potentially even black people. And we need to focus on that.
Absolutely. I don't think I could have said it better myself. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.